All right, it's 6:30, so we'll go ahead and get started. I want to honor your time. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. It's so weird being on Zoom doing this instead of in front of the classroom, but at least we didn't have to get in our cars and like drive around. So that's really nice, very helpful. We can multitask. You can hear my 5 kids in the background, like I'm trying to keep them quiet, but it's gonna be whatever it's gonna be. So just know they got dinner and TV. So hopefully that'll keep them away for a little while. So my name is Alicia Gibson, and welcome. This is freshman English that we're gonna be talking about tonight, which I'm super excited about. I taught freshman English for a really long time. I've been at Helix for 14 years, and for the first 10 years of being there, I taught a freshman English class and freshmen and juniors and back and forth. But then for the past 4 years, I haven't had a freshman class, just juniors. And then I also teach the 120 dual enrollment class, which is juniors and seniors, but they get college credit as well. And that's taught at Helix. So it's a good option for all your freshmen for their junior or their senior English year. They can take that and get college credit at the same time as getting Helix credit, and it's free and it's on campus, which is great. And it's in place of AP English, just so you know, that's what we're doing instead. We have that college option. So I teach that. So this is my first freshman class in a long time, and I'm so excited. It's super fun to be back. And I love the kids and I like their little cute faces. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so fun to talk to the young kids again. So this is also a co-taught class. I have a co-teacher that teaches with me and assists and helps with any students that might need additional support. So she is in there with me as well. It's Mrs. Meyer, if you know her. So it's really fun, and it looks like it's going to be a really good year. So I wanted to just quickly share with you a little bit about our class, what you can expect, and then maybe show you our class website. So we can help our students just know how to navigate that and how to go through and get whatever information they might need as they're getting into high school in this really weird time. I was realizing, since they have no pictures on my attendance system, I'm like, oh my gosh, they weren't on campus. They didn't even take pictures. Like, how bizarre to have high school start out this way. So trying to make the best of it for sure. Okay, so it's English 1C, 2C is what we're working on. We are, just like last term on the quarters. So they'll do the first half from now until spring break, and then the second half. So that's good in that each quarter is a fresh start. So however things went the first quarter, it's not how they have to go the second quarter. So it definitely kind of helps them. They just have a little bit of time to focus, and then we start brand new again in the second half of the year. So this year, we're really working on reading strategies and looking at texts in a different way. Helix is big on focusing on argument and how an author helps their audience hear, what they're trying to their argument or what they're trying to persuade them to do, think, or feel. We're really big on looking at text a little bit more critically than just reading a story to read a story. So we're always going to have a purpose for reading. We're always going to have students looking at the text in a different lens than just getting the story. So we're starting right now with, maybe you've seen your student reading at the book. I Am Malala is the first book that we're reading. And so we're going through that right now, but we're really focusing on the idea of refuge and how people find refuge in different places, with different people, in different environments. And so talking, how to the student about how they find refuge, but then applying that to the novel. So we're reading that now and taking notes as we go. We should be, by the end of this weekend, about halfway through the book. So if you see your student and they haven't even cracked the cover, be like, hey, what's happening? Go read. So they should be working on that. And this will be where our first paper comes from. We'll be writing an essay based on this book and where the main character, it's an autobiography. I Am Malala. So she actually writes it about herself and her life and her experience. And so they're going to be your student will be focusing on a element, an area where she finds refuge, either in her religion, her friends and family, or her education. She's an advocate for women's education and rights, if you didn't know, and then was kind of tried to be silenced by the Taliban. So, but was able to still speak up and communicate her message about equality in education, no matter if you're male, female, and no matter what culture you're in. So they'll be writing an essay based on that and really arguing what they think is the most influential place of refuge for Malala in the book. So we'll be working on that, finishing the book in the next week or so, and then working on writing that essay, which will be due right before spring break, and that will be their big end assignment that they'll be working on. Then when we get back from the spring break, we're going to be doing a research paper focusing on teens and technology. So they'll get a lot of different sources, a lot of different articles discussing technology and the effects of technology on teens. And then they'll pick one specific area to focus in on and do a paper on that, discussing the effects that that specific type of technology has and what those effects can be on teens and long-term and all of that good stuff. Okay, and then we'll be ending the term. They get to choose their own novel, and we'll be doing a project based on that. And they'll get to choose what project they want to do and which novel they want to focus on as well. So that's kind of our class in a nutshell. So things to look for at home. Canvas is updated like almost instantaneously. I don't have time for things to sit in my gradebook ungraded. So if they're like, oh, I turned it in, she just didn't grade it yet, that's probably not true. It's probably graded. So if it's a 0, that means it wasn't turned in. So things to look for. And on our home screen, I'll show you when we go to our Canvas page, we'll have the agenda for the week. So like what they need to look for and what they need to do. And it's also listed out in an announcement, exactly what they need to do on what day and when it's due. All assignments are due by 11:59 p.m. on the due date. So however your student wants to figure that out is fine. And we do have, we switched the late policy a little bit this term. We do have a 48-hour late policy grace period. So if the student's like, I don't know, sometimes things happen or you fall asleep and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot I had to do that thing. So they do have 2 days to complete the assignment for full credit. After that, sorry for you. So we're like, get it together, but they do have 2 days to kind of organize themselves if they need to get that done. You know, I know things happen. It's all wacky right now. So that you know. Oh, and yeah, so all the updated grades online, you can check that all the time with any assignments that are upcoming. So the grade breakdown, we're going to have 3 formal writing assignments, the essay for the book, the research paper, their choice novel project, that will make up 35% of their grade. So a good third of their grade will be those formal writing assignments. We will be working on them in class and peer editing and breaking it down and doing all the things. So it will be fine. They'll have plenty of time to do it. And should they turn it in and it not quite hit the mark that it needs to hit, they do have the option, if it's not passing at the first time, then they have the option to revise. They have the opportunity to revise it up to that passing that 70% that they need to get to pass the formal papers. We will have a couple of timed essays, timed writing in class. They'll get a prompt. They'll have a day or so to kind of prepare. And then in class, during one of our class Zoom sessions, they'll do an on-demand writing task. A homework classwork, which mostly everything's homework now because we're all at home, is another 35% of their grade. And then they will have 2 speeches, one at the end of each term, that will make up 10% of their grade. And they'll do those just on, it's a program or a website called Flipgrid. And so they'll just record themselves doing the speech and then submit that to our Canvas page for me to watch by myself while I'm sitting here and give them a grade for that. We talked about late work. And like I said, I'm super excited. I'm so glad to be teaching freshmen again. It's fun. It's it's refreshing and fun. And I like taking it down to the basics and helping them really get that good foundation that they're going to need for the rest of high school. I also think it's good because I know where they need to get to by senior year. So it's like, all right, okay, this is what we need to make sure that you have a handle on so that you can really be successful in the next 3 years of high school, because everything builds on what they learn right now as freshmen. So, which is good too. It's not like every English class is going to be different. It definitely just, builds its way up to their senior year. So it'll be a good start for them. So our Canvas page, which you've probably seen, let me make sure I think that's my other class. Everything's kind of laid out right here. We have all of our announcements, and like I mentioned, they're week by week. I try to post everything by the Sunday before so that they can know, kind of prepare ahead of time and know for the week when things are going to be due as far as time organization. Making sure, just kind of here's the week in advance so they can plug things in when they have time and when they feel like they can get things taken care of. But it'll be spelled out day by day what they need to do and when they need to have it done by. So you can always look through there. And also, again, we have the agenda on the front page just here that will spell out when things are due, what they should be working on, when classes are, all of that, so they can get that like, oh yeah, that's right. And I know the schedule's been weird and we've been mixing it up with the holidays and weird stuff. So I'm like, now we're back. Now we're on the actual real schedule, Monday, Wednesday. So it's been a little bit easier this week as well. I do have tutorials on Tuesday and Thursday. If your student needs help with anything, they can pop in. It hasn't really been utilized so far. I kind of have been hanging out by myself, but there hasn't been a ton that they've needed to work on yet that, it's reading. It's like reading and taking notes. So it hasn't been a ton, but so there is that option that your student can pop into our tutorial on Tuesdays or Thursday mornings and get help with whatever they want. I have one tutorial for all my classes. The English tutorial is 8:30 to 9:35. So it is a little weird because it's not our normal class time. It's just first thing in the morning. That's when all English tutorials are. So it's a little bit earlier, which I maybe was throwing some people off as well. And that is kind of it. All of the Zooms are recorded and the student can go back and look at them. If they missed something or didn't know what was going on, they're welcome to go back and check that out or email me at any time with any questions. I'm pretty much on email all the time, so I'll get back to them pretty quickly. And that's kind of our class. Are there any questions or anything or any clarifications? We're good? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us and I know there's a million other things that are going on tonight, so I super appreciate you popping on and getting all the information so that we can really help your student be successful. So thank you so much for your time. Have a great night.